This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
And Will.
And today we're not going to talk about Coin Plant, even though
Nope.
you'd probably love it if we talked about him again. We're going to talk about the ESRB, or the Entertainment Software Review Board.
Them mamma jammas.
Yeah, we'll pull up Wikipedia. All right, listen. So this is going to look kind of similar to the notes I have that I'm about to read to y'all, but since I have them, I'm going to read them. All right, so the rating process by the ESRB is used to rate video games and software.
I was so shocked when I learned how they actually did this process. It's unbelievable. Go on, Chris.
It's such a good thing for everybody to know, okay?
Yeah.
So when a video game publisher is trying to obtain a rating from the ESRB, here's what they do. They submit a detailed questionnaire, a long form that describes the graphic and extreme content found in the game to the ESRB, along with a video, VHS, DVD, video file, or other means. I imagine that VHSs are seldom received at this point, but they could still be. That demonstrates this content, which can include gameplay footage and in-depth and in-game cutscenes. This information includes the game's context, storyline, gameplay mechanics, reward system, unlockable and otherwise hidden content, and other elements that may affect its rating. The ESRB seeks to have enough information on the context of the extreme content to be able to judge its appropriateness. The video game publisher may also provide printed copies of the game's script and the lyrics from the songs in the game. The publisher also pays an upfront fee for obtaining the ESRB rating. Okay, so essentially you get like a 20-minute video and a write-up from the publisher, and that's how they do this.
Yep, and this is how Activision and EA can now put the microtransactions in the game after it's sold, or like after it's already gone out to the public.
Well, you know how they get away with that, right?
How?
It says online interactions and downloadable content not rated by the ESRB. Right on the box.
Yep.
So they don't have to.
Yep, so they don't have to say it's gambling.
Yep. So I'm going to go through a brief description of all the different ratings, right? So there's RP, which is rating pending. You'll see that in a lot of trailers. It's used in promotional materials for which games have not yet been rated. And that's pretty much used across the board. EC, which is no longer used, is for early childhood games. Games with this rating contain content which is aimed towards a preschool audience. They do not contain content that parents would find objectionable to this audience. You have to remember, all this is subjective to the culture of the U.S. Because that's where this is primarily used, is in the U.S. E, which is 1994 to present. It's E for everyone. Games with this rating contain content which the ESRB believes is generally suitable for all ages. They can contain content such as an infrequent use of mild/cartoon violence and mild language. This rating was originally known as Kids to Adults until 1998, when it was renamed to E for everyone. Used to be K to A. So you'll see some content released back pre-1998 if you buy old games. It will say K to A. E 10 plus, everyone 10 plus. So essentially the name explains itself, but games with this rating contain content which the ESRB believes is generally suitable for those aged 10 years and older. They can contain content with an impact higher than the everyone rating can get accommodate, but still not as high.
I rarely see this one anymore.
Right. Still not as high to warrant a teen rating, such as a larger amount of violence, mild language, crude humor, or suggestive content. I don't see this one that often. It was started in 2005, so this has not been present from the get-go.
I used to see this in like movie properties, so like DreamWorks movie games and stuff. But I can't remember the last time I've seen it.
Probably
actually.
like a Shrek game would get that.
Yeah.
T for teen, 1994 to present. Games with this rating contain content which the ESRB believes is generally suitable for those aged 13 years and older. They can contain content such as moderate amounts of violence, mild to moderate use of language or suggestive themes, sexual content, crude humor. That has been used since 1990. So this was essentially formed in 1994 because of games like Night Trap. All right, so they had to create a ratings board in 1994. So all these ones that say 1994 to present are all original ratings that are still used.
Yeah.
M for mature has been used from 1994 to present. Games with this rating contain content which the ESRB believes is generally suitable for those aged 17 years and older. They can contain content with an impact higher than the teen rating can accommodate, such as intense and or realistic portrayals of violence, including blood, gore, mutilation, and depictions of death, stronger sexual themes and content, partial nudity, and more frequent use of strong language. And then we get to the last rating. AO, adults only.
I've never seen a game with this.
I can name one off the top of my head.
Well, Chris
Games with
has
this,
several in this show.
I don't. Games with this rating contain content which the ESRB believes is suitable for those aged 18 years and older. They contain content with an impact higher than the mature rating can accommodate, such as strong sexual themes, content, graphic nudity, extreme portrayals of violence, or unsimulated gambling with real currency. The majority, real currency, adult-oriented gambling. The majority of AO-rated titles are pornographic adult video games. The ESRB has seldom issued the AO ratings solely for violence. There is like one or two. I did look at this list one time just to see what was on there. So I want to talk about the effectiveness of the rating system.
Well, it's crap now because they're putting E for everything on games gambling with children.
Yes. Well, not only that, but the mature rating is applied liberally to a lot of games that could be probably teen, whereas the teen rating is applied liberally to games that probably could be mature. It seems like T and M are almost interchangeable nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And then just to forego Will making fun of me, the only AO rated game that I know of is extremely famous. It's called The Guy Game. It's on a lot of platforms. And it's famous because there's controversy surrounding it where they accidentally filmed nudity of a minor in the game. And they had to pull the game from shelves as soon as they discovered that, no longer selling it. But what's funny about this game is it's one of the titles that is a Xbox One compatible Xbox game. Like, why would you take the time? Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's terrible.
Why is this... I know it's on the 360. I know it's on the backwards compatibility list for the 360. I'm pretty sure it's on the Xbox One.
I can't believe they did that.
Such an oversight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. I mean, maybe... Let me double check that. I know it's on the 360. I can tell you that. Let me see. That would be so hilarious, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like, let's just spend the time to make this... Like, maybe it was one of the few they could get easily.
Yeah.
I swear it was on the list. Wait, this has got to be 360. Oh, no, it's all of them, including the Xbox and Xbox One. Let's see. Might be in the thes.
Yep. Oh, you're just wrong, Chris.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. It's on the 360. It's backwards compatible with 360, but not the Xbox One. Okay, Microsoft learned their lesson.
I think, is it an Xbox only game though?
No, it's on the PS2 and the Xbox. And I think the PC. I think there's a PC version. I haven't looked that deeply into it. I just know it was on the Xbox, and I know it was a backwards compatible title. And people on Reddit were like, "Why? Why is this a game that needed to be?"
You had to get your, underage boobs somewhere, Chris.
Anyways, I think the effectiveness of the rating system boils down to the original creation, where a government entity essentially forced this to happen based on a game called Night Trap, which really they pulled a still image from the game that wasn't even what they took it way out of context. It wasn't what they portrayed it to be in the courts. They said it was like essentially a forceful encounter between a woman and four futuristic, technologically savvy vampires.
Interesting. What is this game?
Night Trap. Night Trap. I actually own a copy of it. That's why I know about this. So it's not even remotely what they described it as. Like, they pulled the still image.
Are you disappointed, Chris?
No, I'm not. I'm not disappointed at all. They pulled this still image from the game, and it's a cutscene where they're just dragging her off to put her into some sort of... To be honest with you, I don't know where they take the people that they steal, because they never really go into that. They just, like, essentially, you're trying to prevent the characters from getting captured, and this is a scene where you failed. So they're dragging her off to whatever lair they have, but they don't depict any of that, so you can't...
It's also 1994. It's not like you would have been able to tell what was happening anyway.
And it was one of those like Flash FMV videos. So you could, and it has been remastered for the famously, Nintendo said this game would never be on their platform, but it's been remastered for the Switch, so they're now eating those words. So it's on the Switch, the Xbox One, The PS4, the PS Vita, even though it doesn't play very well on the PS Vita, I do own that copy physically. And it's really just so famous because it's one of the reasons the ESRB exists. Now, that game wouldn't even get a T rating, but it got an M rating back in the day, so... because of that stupid still image they use in the courts. So I would consider that a misrated game.
Yep.
There's been several misrated games over the years, but I just want to talk about how we think the process could be improved. What's something that you would do differently?
All right, one, take the people who are actually making the games off the board of the ESRB because they have a stake in what you're putting on that label.
True.
The lower that label, the more people that can buy that game. So that's why they want to put E for everyone on the games that have freaking microtransactions and gambling, because kids don't know any better and they're going to spend thousands of dollars of their parents' money. And also, when you don't have a warning, people who are the people who are buying it don't necessarily know there's gambling in the game, and also like parents are buying it for their kids don't know it. So I think that's a problem. A couple ways they could fix it. Another thing is they could actually play the game instead of just getting a 20-minute video.
Yeah.
Have it where the developers have to give it a couple of weeks in advance, so there's enough time for them to actually play through the game and know what's in it.
Yep, that's fair.
Before it goes gold. Yeah.
I think one thing that should happen is if the developers of the game present the game as is when it comes out, it's launch. This is how it's going to launch, and it's rated one way, and then elements that would rate it a different way are eventually added to the game. There should be fines. Say you add gambling, and you got rated E10 or E for everyone. If they add gambling, automatic fine, because it was rated based on the changes made later.
Yeah,
and
the thing is,
should be
they
based
know
on
that stuff's going in, so they should give a sample when they give the game sample.
They should. That's why the fines should be imposed.
Yeah,
I think if all it should take is some number of parents reporting the game to get the ESRB to impose fines. Based on their own investigation into the problem. But they should have, if they don't already have staff for that type of thing, they should be given funding to add staff that would do specifically that.
Yeah.
So that's one way they can improve it. Another thing, maybe just follow the same thing as the movie ratings. You already got it established. Rated R, rated teen, right? Or not teen, 17 or R. Yeah, R. You got XXX, PG-13, PG, and G. Why not just use that? Why have separate ratings boards, or not ratings board, but ratings that are different than what the movies use? I mean, I don't get it. But this is not as easily translatable, right? You'd have to go, okay, E equals P, E equals G, E10 equals PG. PG-13 equals teen, M equals R. Now you got to compare all these things. XXX equals AO. It doesn't make any sense. You basically just have compatible video games ratings versus movie ratings. So, anyways, that's what I've got. Hope that this was informative for anybody watching. As always, I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
And we will see you
on the next CHRILLCAST. Bye, guys.